Hey everyone, I am so glad that you're here today. I know most of you are subscribed to me for Star Wars and Darth Vader content, but as somebody that moved to the Orlando, Florida area within the past year, as a big Disney Parks fan and now a cast member, I figured I really should be taking advantage of living a half an hour away from Disney World. I've always been passionate about the parks, I've always been a fan, I've been going since I was 9-10 years old. Be able to do vlogs and kind of show people, especially those who around the world don't get the chance to go to Disney World as frequently as someone especially who lives that close. I would love to be able to show day-to-day experience of what that's like to live as close as I do. As a Disney Parks fan my whole life, finally getting to be in an area as close to the parks that have given me so many memories and so many fun times, it's so cool. So yeah, I figured as a local I need to finally start getting out there, and I'm going to show you all my experiences in my time in the parks. Unfortunately, Tom Sawyer Island and the rivers of America are getting wiped off the map here in just a few days. And while I'll actually be honest, as someone that has been going to the parks for over a decade, my first time actually going to Tom Sawyer Island was within the past year. Especially when it comes to other attractions recently that they've either renovated or removed, I can be sad about those. Muppet Vision I'm really hurt about, as that's an attraction that I've been going to for a long time. But Tom Sawyer Island, like I said, I'll be real, I had gone for almost a decade and I had not stepped foot on that island once. Even when I was a small child, my parents just had literally no interest taking me whatsoever. It never happened. I don't know why, it just wasn't part of our trip. I think we were just busy. And so there's a part of me that kind of understands the closing. I understand that this didn't really draw a lot of people. But there's also a part of me that's sad because Tom Sawyer Island specifically, it's such a beautiful, well-themed area. The cohesion between Haunted Mansion, Liberty, like thrown in with Tom Sawyer Island, it's such a great visual presence, and that's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about with what they're going to do with Cars, putting it in Magic Kingdom. But I do have a really strong hope that Disney knows what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. I mean, like I said, this attraction is not necessarily that popular. It has not drawn a lot of people, so I get it. I'm not hurt about it, but it's definitely, I'm a little nervous to see what they do with the sightlines and everything like that. But with that being said, let's go to Magic Kingdom. You know, the thing that I think most fascinates me about every time a Disney attraction closes is that the amount of support that it gets right beforehand versus, you know, even a week prior to the actual announcement of closing. I think as far as I'm aware, for my entire time as an adult, or even as my entire time as having a conscience, every single time I went into Muppet Vision, I had walked straight in. But I went the day before its final closure, and I had to wait in line for Muppet Vision, which is crazy to me. When it comes to Tom Sawyer Island, I am going 3 days prior to its closure, so I don't know if it's going to be as packed. But I am really interested to see if there is a swarm of support of people that show up just for this attraction. This week, while I was talking to guests at work, there were a lot of people. Some of them had straight up just booked their trips just to do Tom Sawyer before it closed, which blew my mind.
Pretty cool, actually. Well,
And here we finally are at Magic Kingdom. I can probably say this about 100 times over. No matter how many times I vacation here, no matter how many times I've worked here, no matter how many times I've shown up here as a local, there is nothing like walking on Main Street. There's just something legitimately special about Main Street. Now, normally under any other circumstances, I promise you the last place that I would be going is Tom Sawyer Island. However, it is unfortunately closing in 3 days, and we do want to check that out. But I also feel like if you don't stop and listen to the piano player for at least a few seconds, you're doing yourself a disservice. His name is Grayson, but he's by far one of the coolest cast members that we've got at Disney World, and he's one of the nicest souls. He does such a great job every single day. I do have to say, especially with everything changing, I genuinely wonder how much longer this thing is going to be around. I really don't see Swiss Family Tree sticking around for too much longer. The amount of times that I've actually had a reservation for this place and still have yet to go, I don't know. I need to try it. It's one of the few restaurants on property that I have yet to actually go to. I haven't had the chance to check wait times today, but from what I'm looking around, it doesn't seem awful today. It doesn't seem empty by any means, but it does not seem that busy. I won't lie, there's a very, very small part of me that is kind of terrified to see how long the line is for the boats to get to Tom Sawyer. It shouldn't be that bad, right? There it is. Soon to be gone. This also kind of sadly just goes to show how much I know and how much I've been paying attention to the parks lately. I did not know they added live music right outside of Tiana's, and as someone that just got done living in Louisiana for the past few years, I am in love. So, come to my surprise, the line is actually really not that bad. I expected way worse, and I'm assuming probably the last day of operation or before will probably be that bad, but this is about average from what I remember. Now, understandably so, just to get as many guests through this attraction as possible, they were absolutely cramming these rafts as tight as possible. The line didn't look as bad, but you have to understand, especially for Tom Sawyer Island, they haven't had to use these queues in a very, very long time. They also obviously want to do their best to make sure things are moving efficiently, and when you have this many guests, you're going to have to unfortunately cram them. I do remember the few times that I had gone on Tom Sawyer Island, I literally had an entire raft to myself. What I really find most fascinating as a cast member, you were trained early on how to use these queues, but you have to keep in mind all of these attractions and rides are not high capacity. People are not coming out in droves for Tom Sawyer Island. So all these cast members are dealing with this for probably the first time in their careers. It was the funniest thing to me because I was watching cast members absolutely freak out when it came to Muppet Vision 3D. I was only there on just the day prior, but it was absolutely getting swamped, and cast members had absolutely no clue where to send these people. Now, it's just so weird that something like this that has been around for so long is literally just going to be dredged in just a few days. And while I do understand that Tom Sawyer Island is Tom Sawyer as an IP is really not the most popular thing anymore, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's too bad because even though I recognize that obviously Disney would like to weed out attractions that are not that popular, it is really nice to have attractions that you can kind of have an escape. And it seems like those are slowly vanishing as time goes on. Like I said, the IP itself is not that popular. I'll be real, like I'm not going to pretend like I'm some OG fan. I probably didn't even finish the book when I was in school. Attractions like this, not every single attraction needs to be an IP that is currently up to date. And that's what kills me about Aerosmith going away, is that is a rock band that I discovered because I went to Disney World when I was 10 years old. But I digress. This area has needed improvement for a very long time, and I'm more than happy to see it go. And out of all of the attractions that probably I'm the most safe with getting completely removed, I'm okay with this one. I just absolutely do hope that the new land is well themed and it is as beautiful as this, because no matter what you can say about the area, it is one of the prettiest parts of the park. Now, I haven't been back here in a little while, but if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm gonna have to look back in my old videos, I do remember there being a running creek in this area right here. I don't know if there are certain parts of the island that are just slowly shutting down. I do know that access to that tower right now is also closed. But I don't know if I'm imagining things. I might be. I very specifically think I remember water running through this area right here. But like an area like this doesn't even feel like Disney World. Like like this straight up is such an escape from the busyness of Magic Kingdom. Maybe besides the ferry boat that's blasting right over there, but like this area is such a relaxing and beautiful place. I didn't even...
Ironic.
Oh my God. Like an area like this is such a beautiful and relaxing escape. It's too bad we kind of lose this. Obviously, this is my first ever vlog, getting over talking in public. It also looks like that, once again, there are a few features that are just, at the moment, closed down. The Barrel Bridge, completely just shut. Like, look at this. This is such a beautiful seating area. They really missed an opportunity to have a solid quick service over here. Maybe they did at one point. It kind of looks like it. I think one of the other big reasons that I was so ready to come out here, especially a few days before I had to shut down. I absolutely love going on YouTube and looking up old videos back, especially in the early 2000s, of like old attractions shut down. Like just not even necessarily old ride POVs, but just to see how the parks looked back then when I was going as a child. I think documentation of these attractions is extremely important in getting as much as we can before they go. It's incredibly cool to have. This is all gonna be gone. Looks like we kind of ended up going backwards, but this is the mill. I believe this used to move. I don't really remember, but... the amount of writings and families that have come over here. This camera is excellent in low light conditions, and it does not do justice on how dark it actually is in this cave right now. I'm kind of surprised that Disney was even allowed to keep it open in this light for this long. Yeah, the camera does not do it justice how dark it actually can get in here on some days. Oh, this is so cool. Being from Wisconsin, the AC in this cave has been an absolute relief. I have not adjusted to Florida heat yet. I am sweating. I've probably lost 10 pounds in just like today. It's bad. I don't know if this is the second cave. I don't know if I've already been in here. If that's the case, I'm gonna look really stupid. I don't think I've been in here. Got some. I did just check wait times, and overall Kingdom doesn't look too bad today. Haunted Mansion is at 35, which at this time of day is really, really not that bad. Big Thunder Mountain is still undergoing construction, and I don't know when it's going to be back, but that is a ride that is dearly missed. Now, last time I came here, I remember you could go up in those towers, and I believe there were guns that you could shoot. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I'm kind of interested to see what they've shut down since I've last been here, since I know it's kind of on its way out. I'm kind of surprised the animatronics are in working order. Yeah, other than that, I truly cannot. I'm really surprised the animatronics were even still functioning, especially seeing all the other stuff that was kind of shut down at this point on the island. There's no chance guns are still operating. There's no way, right? Oh God, these things actually still work. Would you look at that? I can confidently say that I'm kind of shocked that Fortis is in good of a condition that it is. I did not expect the guns to be working, the animatronics. I was really, really impressed. I'll be real, it honestly seems like they've kind of maintained Tom Sawyer Island better than they did Splash Mountain. I know obviously Splash Mountain is a much more complex attraction, but like, you know. For those of you that rode Splash Mountain prior to its shutdown, you know how just in rough shape that ride was. The maintenance was not maintaining it whatsoever. I wonder where he's moving to next. Now, if you have claustrophobia, but as someone who is 6'4", I'm absolutely scrunched in this tunnel right now. And the worst part is about it, not even really a lot of AC in this one, so this is not my favorite cave. I'm not even gonna lie, I can barely fit through this thing. This is rough. Whew, that was a close one. Yeah, folks, that is pretty much everything for Tom Sawyer Island. I've still got to run over to the riverboats. Obviously, those are shutting down on the 6th as well. I want to give that one more shot before that goes. This is the very last time I will be crossing over this bridge. Tom Sawyer Island, I appreciate you for what you are. You will be missed, but I've missed attractions more. For me personally, I think the most troubling thing that's going away with Tom Sawyer Island is not even necessarily the island itself, but the rivers of America. Now, the rivers of America, the riverboat itself isn't really even that great of an attraction. It's incredibly slow, and on a hot day, it burns. Like, it's incredibly slow. So I'll be super for real. As long as Disney replaces this with a quality attraction and they can make this area of the park aesthetically pleasing, I think they will easily surpass what they have going on here. Because I'll be real, it's really not that great. But it is incredibly important to have cohesion and theming, so I'm just absolutely praying that they get that right. Even if this part of the boat isn't actually functional, this is always one of the coolest things for me to watch. I don't know why. It is a massive piece of machinery. Earlier today, I probably waited like literally 20 minutes just to get in one of those rocking chairs. People were guarding them. People were getting violent. I don't know what it was. Still an absolutely gorgeous view on what is a beautiful day. And I guess this would just make sense, but I did just get sprayed with hot water. Ah, God. I know they've currently got retracking going on. Plus, if I'm remembering correctly, I do believe they are adding the scene from Disneyland with all the explosions and everything like that. So that's at least what I think they're doing. But if I'm remembering my Disney history correctly, I think that thing used to burn, and I think that thing used to burn pretty heavily. I know that's an effect that has gone through a lot of iterations as time has gone on. But there's definitely a sound effect making it sound like it's supposed to burn right now. So I think that's just an abandoned thing that they've left over time. I'm curious how long those guys have been sitting out there. I know they're not very complex animatronics by any means, but the fact that they've even kind of lasted in the weather is always impressive to me. What I'm really curious to see is where they're going to end up moving all these boats. I'm really curious to see if Disney's just going to scrap these boats, sell them off. I mean, these are... the interiors are so freaking cool.
River cruise around the rivers of America. We'd like to thank you for being a part of our 53 years in service. And although our magic is limited, we hope the members...
And this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for Tom Sawyer and the Rivers of America. I do feel like no matter what you come to Magic Kingdom though for, there is no trip to Magic Kingdom that is complete without at least one round on People Mover.
Greetings, intergalactic travelers. Welcome aboard the People Mover.
You can kind of always tell who is either a local or who comes to the parks a lot. It's a favorite ride of those who come here frequently.
Ideas throughout Walt Disney World. Look, there's even a tiny People Mover. I wonder if that means there's a tiny Borak. No longer sold.
But I can tell you, as a local, nothing more great being a local than showing up late at night and either just watching the fireworks or just getting the lights in. People Mover is a local's favorite ride by far. Thank you for sticking with me, ladies and gentlemen, so far, at least to this point. This is my first time ever vlogging, at least out in the wild. It's a scary thing, getting over the fear of at least talking out in public. It looks ridiculous, I'll be real. But I do think that vlogging can be done in a respectful and good manner. So I've been trying to find a good line as to not disturb other guests. I also understand that me being local, I'm extremely blessed to live so close to a park that people spend thousands of dollars a year to travel to. So my main goal throughout these vlogs is so that I can help other people experience these parks a little bit more frequently if they'd like. Another thing that I was nervous about with these vlogs is I don't want to talk too much, but I also want to talk too little and just leave you with awkward silence. And so the toughest thing that I've discovered with vlogs is you don't want to over talk, but you also want to under talk. You want to talk them through it, you know? I have been coming to these parks for a decade and well over now, but bringing other people through a camera is going to be a really, really interesting challenge, but I'm kind of excited to do it. But I think at least for today, we are going to say bye to Magic Kingdom. It was absolutely a ton of fun.
You get tired on the arm holding?
It's horrible. It's so heavy, it's not even funny. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I would absolutely love to make parks vlogs a consistent thing. Please let me know if you enjoyed. If you didn't, either way, I absolutely need constructive criticism. I wasn't a Disney vlogs person at any point in my life. If you see any topics that you'd like me to cover or different things you want me to go out and do, please let me know. I'm more than happy to go out and do it. So I will see you all in the next video.